Hello, everyone. I'm glad that you could join me this week. Um, Thankful that you guys could take the time to learn about a topic that I feel is really important, especially in a game like soccer, where there's not a lot of set breaks, and you kind of really have to manage your energy throughout the entire game because, like you said, you don't have the ability to take breaks like timeouts like basketball or football. So energy management is crucial in something like soccer. And so today, what we're going to speak of is really how to energize yourself when your arousal, your levels are too low, or to relax yourself when your arousal levels are too high. So to start off, I want you to look at that first sheet that I gave you that says energy management at the top. And the first thing we're going to look at is this chart right here. And if you take a look, it says performance on one axis and arousal on the other. And you can see by arousal where we have low, medium, and high. And then what is graphed is what is called the inverted U hypothesis, and it's one of the theories on energy management. And really what it talks about is if our arousal levels are too low for the given task at hand, our performance is going to be too low. As our energy levels rise, so does our performance up to a certain point. Once we reach a point where we're too energized, we're over energetic, our performance then starts to decrease. And so what the graph shows us is that very fact that as our arousal levels increase, our performance increases up to a point and then it drops off. And so that's why it's important to be able to manage this energy, to not only be able to relax when necessary, but to also energize yourself when needed. And so today we're going to speak about a couple of tips and some tools that we can use to help manage our energy levels. Another theory kind of states that we perform best within a certain range, a certain zone of functioning. And so as you can see by the graph, kind of that middle area where we aren't too aroused yet we still have some energy is going to give us the best performance. And this, again, as with many of these tools and techniques, it's very personal. So you may be able to perform better at a lower level than, say, the person next to you. Maybe they perform better at a higher energy level, but it still, for the most part, holds true that if you're too energized, performance is going to suffer, or if you're too excited, or excuse me, too not enough excitement, performance is also going to suffer. Say you want to go out and run a race. If you're too tired to get out of bed, if your arousal levels are too low, you're not going to be able to perform well in that race. Yet at the same time, say we're overexcited and we're trying to play a game where we need really fine motor movement. That might kind of get us excited, might have us racing, have our thoughts racing, have our body getting a little jittery. That can happen with some over energizing. And so we would need to bring those levels down to perform optimally at the task at hand. So again, this is all personal. It's very situational. One task might need a higher energy level, one might need a lower. Such as in soccer, we might want to be really energized when we're starting the game. We want to get that tempo up. We want to get ourselves going. But as the game goes on, keeping too high of an energy level the entire time is going to wear us out before the game is over. So we have to be able to manage that energy. Yet at the same time, if we're too slow, we're not reacting quick enough, we're not going to be able to perform well either. So we'll go back to this sheet, and I want to talk about some of these tools that are listed at the bottom of the sheet in order to really manage our energy. And so as you'll see, the first thing we're going to talk about are energizing techniques. So if you go out on the field and you're feeling like you're not there, you're slow, you just have no energy, these are a couple of techniques that are fairly easy to use, and that we can employ in situations like that to raise those energy levels and to get them into that optimal zone where we can perform at our best. So the first technique is music. Sounds really simple, but it works. Again, this is a personal thing. So what one type of music might work for one person, whereas a different type may work better for someone else. This is one of those things that you got to kind of try out and feel as you go along. But when we can listen to energizing music, it kind of increases our energy levels. We match ourselves with the music. So music with a higher beats per minute is going to help us bring up those energy levels. So that's a simple one. It can be music. You can sing to yourself before a game. You can throw your headphones in and listen to some music. This is something that can be done, like I said, before a game. It can be done at halftime. During the game, like I said, if you find yourself there taking a throw-in and you have a little break and you need to ramp yourself up a little bit, go ahead and sing a song. It's nice to pick a song or a few songs that you particularly find energizing for you, and to kind of stick with those, and hopefully they will help bring those energy levels up as we listen to them, as we sing along with them. Another technique is imagery. And we're going to keep imagery really simple for this one. So imagining certain energetic things, such as a lightning bolt, maybe a cheetah. Another example on here was dance party. Something that when you think of it, the first thought that comes to mind is energy. So a cheetah, it's fast, it's powerful. So we might have that image in our mind to kind of create the sense within ourselves that, okay, we're fast, we're powerful, I'm bringing that energy level up. And then cheetahs work fine. It doesn't have to be an animal. Like I said, lightning could be an example. One of the first things that I think of when I see a lightning strike is power and energy and kind of surge. So picturing that in my mind might also help me bring up those energy levels to a level that's going to really increase my performance. Again, it can be anything that's going to work personally for you. So, like I said, if lightning, you try picturing it, it doesn't work, go ahead and move on to something else. Something that's really going to give you that sense of energy, that sense of power, and bring those arousal levels up. Now, that's great that we have a bunch of energy sometimes. We're ready to go. We're ready for the game. Now it comes down to a penalty kick. You got so much energy. Your muscles start getting tight. You start sweating. You can't really think. Where am I going to place this shot? How am I going to make it? Being too energized in a situation like this can lead to decreased performance, as we see by this graph with the inverted U. When we have too much energy, certain body changes can occur, such as muscle tension. Our muscles get real tight. It's hard to move around a little bit. We can have our thoughts racing. It's hard to think of something, one thing in particular, hard to focus. So when our energy levels are that high, it's necessary to bring them down so that we can have the proper level of arousal to execute the penalty shot in front of us, a free kick. Anything that's in front of us at the time, we can kind of match our energy levels to the needs using these tools. So if you go ahead and take a look down at a couple of the tools that I wrote, we'll come back to this section. And under the relaxation techniques, the first technique that I'd like to go over is called circle breathing. And you can see from the outline right there that it's a fairly simple process. It involves breathing in through the nose, holding that breath for a little bit of time, breathing then out through the mouth, and again, waiting for a second, kind of a rest period at the bottom before we start it over again. So I'm going to go ahead and go through that with you right now. And when we do circle breathing, one of the things we want to pay attention to is our diaphragm. So, kind of hard to see here, our diaphragm is kind of our tummy area. And when we're breathing properly, our diaphragm is going to expand and contract. So when we breathe in, it's going to expand, and we're going to kind of feel our stomach and our hand move out a little bit. As we breathe out, it's going to contract, and so it's going to shrink, and it's going to come back towards our body. And if you keep that hand kind of on your stomach, you can really feel the pushing out and then the coming back in. That really lets you know that you're breathing properly. Now, the other thing that's crucial with the circle breath is being able to have a set time that you're going to use for all of these steps. So we want each step to take the same amount of time. And so usually that occurs with a count. So that can be a 3-second count. It can be a 5-second count. Again, all of this is very personal. So we want to kind of see what's going to work for you on an individual level. Now, when we do our circle breath, like I said, we want to choose a count that's going to allow us to breathe in for that time, to hold it for that time, and to breathe out for that time. So 20 might be breath, whereas 1 might not be long enough. So I usually like 5. 3 is also a good number, but again, you want to pick what's going to work best for you. So now I'm going to lead you through circle breathing a couple of times so you have an idea of how it works. So again, we're going to place our hand on our stomach, and we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold it, breathe out through our mouths, and hold it. So again, I like 5, so that's what I'm going to do for my count. And so here we go. You can close your eyes as well. That helps facilitate relaxation. If you don't want to, keeping your eyes open will work just fine. Just a little added something if you'd like to. So here we go. So as you can see, I breathed in through my nose for 5 seconds. I held it for 5 seconds. I then breathed out through my mouth for 5 seconds, and I waited another 5 seconds until taking that second breath. So that's kind of how it gets the circle pattern, where it comes in, hold, out, hold, and all the same time, creating that circular pattern. So that's something that can be used at any time. It's pretty quick. You can do it as many times in a row as you feel is necessary. I hope that some of you that just did it can kind of feel yourself a little more relaxed, reducing a little bit of tension, a little bit of stress. And so it can be used during breaks. It can be used before the game. It can be used at throw-ins. Really, it's a quick kind of relaxation technique that is able to be used on the fly when we need it. Now, something that can also be used on the fly, but is usually a little better to use maybe before a performance or something, where you have a little more time, a little more of a comfortable scenario, a little more of a comfortable space, is imagery. And so as you can see, very similar to the energizing techniques, imagery for relaxation is going to work the same way, except now this time, instead of thinking of things that bring to mind energy and power, we're going to think of things that bring to mind relaxation, being calm, whatever relaxation means to you. This can be a place, this can be an activity, this could be a person that relaxes you, something that's really going to be personal and really make you think of relaxation. So some of the examples I have on here: my bed. Whenever I think of my bed, I think of going to sleep. I think of having no stress, nothing on my mind. I'm just ready to lay down, relax, and go to bed. Now, something else, another place could be something like the beach. The sand, the nice warm sand gets you relaxed. You can feel all your tension go away. Again, whatever image is going to provide you with the most relaxing feeling. And it's got to be something that is easy to think of. is easy to kind of get behind and say, okay, I'm thinking of this, now I'm feeling relaxed. So on that note, we're going to go on to the other sheet that I gave you that says imagining relaxation at the top. And so if we read it, imagery can be a powerful tool to help an athlete relax. And imagining a place, situation, like I said, could be a person as well, can help reduce stress caused by the environment and decrease overall tension. And so it's this sheet is going to help us organize our thoughts and really come up with a strong image that we can use to help facilitate our relaxation. So the first question here is, what is the most relaxing place for you? Again, you can substitute place for person, activity. I know that I really get relaxed when I can go out and just shoot a basketball by myself. So my relaxation imagery might be of me going out to a court by myself and shooting the ball. Again, it could be the beach. It could be if your mom really gets you relaxed and has a way of taking your stress away, then you can think of that. And once you think of this place, then we want to provide some details about the place. Now, imagery is going to work best when we try to incorporate all of our senses. It's going to bring in a really strong image, and a stronger image is hopefully going to have a better effect on our relaxation. So we want to, again, incorporate sights that we see. We want to incorporate sounds that we hear, especially relaxing sounds. Say we're in the forest. You really like the woods to relax. It calms you down. Maybe the chirp of the birds you can hear, the rustling of the wind through the trees, something that's going to create that relaxing feeling. Again, smells. Going back to the forest, the smell of the pine trees, just the overall smell of the woods. Maybe there's a stream that's running through and you can hear it kind of running over the rocks and making that nice, that little sound. Maybe you can taste the fresh air. You can see no one around, just trees. Something that's going to create that feeling of relaxation, and it's going to incorporate all our senses, so it's that much more powerful for us, that much easier for us to remember and to create in our mind when we need to relax. Okay, then we want to talk about, why is this place so relaxing? Going back to the forest, it's relaxing because there's no one else out there. There's no car horns. There's no sounds. There's no people bustling around. It's a place where I can be by myself and just kind of relax. Okay, is this place easy for you to imagine? This is an important one. We don't want to think of something that's hard for us to think of off the top of our head. We need something that's going to come to us pretty automatically, and we can say, okay, I'm taking this time to now use my imagery to relax. We want that place to be able to come into your mind easily. We want you to be able to really explore that place and explore, why is this so relaxing for me, and why am I going to be relaxed? And then let that relaxation kind of take over your body and take place, bring those energy levels down a little bit. So at the bottom of the sheet is going to be a little bit of homework for you guys. So the next time you feel stressed, you feel that tension, you feel overexcited, anything like that, and you think, hey, relaxation could work for me, I want you to pull out this sheet, and before you do anything, notice that stress, notice that tension, and kind of rate on this 1 to 7 scale that I have down here. How are these tension levels? How is this energy level? Maybe I'm way up here and I would like to be down here. So go ahead and rate that. And then practice imagining your place, your scenario, your activity, the person. And again, make it as relaxing as possible. Use all of those senses. And then go ahead and notice that stress level again. Notice that tension and see, did it reduce my tension? If not, maybe it's not the best thing for you to be using for your image. Maybe we want to switch it up a little bit. And this is all very personal. If it did work, great. Maybe there's some things that we noticed that could be stronger. Maybe there's things that we noticed worked really well and we want to use them more. So again, we can use this scale to see, did this work for me? Yes, okay, let's use it in the future. No, maybe we'll try something else. And again, practice, 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 guys. Imagery is not an easy skill. I don't suggest thinking of an image and then going into a game tomorrow and jumping in and using that and expecting yourself to relax. It does take a little bit of practice being able to work with that image, being able to really create that sense of relaxation. So take some time to practice it. Use this scale to really see if your practice is working. And then once you feel comfortable with that image, with that relaxation, then you can start to employ it into some practices, maybe before a game. Then as you get more comfortable in practices, then maybe move to a game and using those skills there. But again, we want to make sure that we have our arousal levels in a range that's going to optimize our performance. And so we don't want to be too low, we don't want to be too high. And so that's why we use some of these energizing techniques and relaxation techniques that I spoke of today to shift where our energy levels are, to really affect our performance and to get that top peak performance out as often as we can. So again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good evening.